Good day, world. Welcome to my YouTube again. Let's start with the preliminaries. Don't forget to like. Don't forget to love. Don't forget to click that notification button, that clock. And also don't forget to subscribe. Those you certainly can do. Why should you do them? Actually, because you can. So that's actually a choice. So one person asked me, but you seem to be trying, to make an impact. You seem to have at least finished your degree, gotten your master's, and now you seem to be studying as well. What is the one secret that you can tell me, that could help me to succeed in my career as a law student? And this thing, I really thought about it, and I thought about it deeply. And the first thing that I thought about is that why am I qualified to answer this question, Because it's quite important. Sometimes we want to answer questions that we are not equipped or that we are not even, prepared to to answer. But I then thought that no, I'm prepared and qualified to answer the question. One, because I've been a student myself. Two, because I've been a good student, a very good student for certain times of my career. And then at some point in that law career, I've been the most pathetic student ever, especially you remember my fourth year story. So if you haven't seen that, go back to a couple of videos and then you probably would come up to that story. But I wanted then to say, having gone through the years that I've gone through studying law, what is the one thing that stands out for me that I can say, but this is something that you must do, and if you do this, you will certainly succeed? Hidden secrets of something. Well, it's not a secret at all, Law is actually kind of easy if you do one thing. In other words, if you do this one thing, you are guaranteed success. If you do this one thing and you are doing it very good, then I promise you, then you will excel in your law career. You will actually enjoy the law, And as a result of that, I want to share the secret with you, because if you don't do it, you will suffer the consequences, and you will end up being at university for quite a long time, until maybe you are kicked out because you're refusing to do what I'm telling you to do. So if you are going to do this one thing, it's important to understand that you must give it time as well. So you can't just do what I'm going to tell you and you're doing it in passing, or you are in a rush to do it. But you need, every day, you have to put effort, sweat, tears to be able to do it effectively and properly. So what is this thing? What is this thing that I am going to share with you, that the world has kept you away as a law student so long? Guys, it's not out of this world. One, you actually have to read. You have to read. When you think you have read, you must read some more. And when you think you are actually at a place where you have read enough, you need to still read some more. So what do we read? First, we read our textbooks. You can't tell me that a person was a law student or is a law student, and for example, and they are in their third year and they still don't know Snyman, for example, criminal law, or they don't know J.V. du Plessis, Practical Guide to Labor Law, or any other, or Christo Buerta, statutory interpretation. It cannot be. If you are a law student, there are certain basics or books that you need to read. And the first starting point is your textbooks. You must read your textbooks. And obviously, what is attached to your textbooks? Your textbooks, you must read your study guides. Don't take your study guides for granted, guys. You have to do that, and you must read through your study guides, go through all the assignments, all the exercises that you need to do, all the long typing. So That's important. Then secondly, you need to read your legislation. You need to understand the law as it is. So whatever subject that you are busy with at that moment, then try by all means to read as much pieces of legislation as possible, because that will certainly help you. So if you are studying criminal law, for example, you need to go read more about for example, your criminal law legislation. If you are in family law, you need to go read legislation on that. If you are, for example, on whatever, it doesn't matter the type of module you are dealing with, go and read legislation on that, because it will tell you what the law is on that. And then again, you must, now you have, for example, you've read your textbooks, you've read your manuals, your study guides, and you've done your assignments. At least you're getting a clue of this. And then also you've read your legislation. It's important that we read then our cases. Why do we read cases? Because now cases go about practical application of the law. So you when you read cases, you'll come across a scenario or facts that have taken place. Then you will see the judges will get to the issue. They will get to what the rule of law is. Then they will tell you eventually the application of that law up until they get to the conclusion, which is the end of the case. And that gives now all these legal principles, they come alive now, and different perspectives are being considered, and why certain perspectives should be accepted above others. And this is a beautiful thing. So cases for me is the important thing, because the minute you read cases, you can understand. And so if you don't understand, find cases and read them from beginning to end. Often when you read your head note, you'll get a rough idea. But if you really want to enjoy the law, you need to indulge in cases, case binge on a weekend. That would be nice. But then again, what I like is that once you know what the law is, or know the law as is, then I think it's very important that you go and read journal articles, go find works of scholars, engage with these works, see the different scholars arguing for different points and from different perspectives, why they think the law is as it is, or why do they think the law is wrong and should be in a different way, why they are criticizing certain judgments made by certain judges and so forth. And this is where laws certainly come alive, and it's beautiful as well. So I will encourage you, go read your journal articles, find anything to read. And then other things that you have to read, as a lawyer, you have to keep abreast with the current affairs in the country. You need to know what's going on in and around you. So go find yourself newspapers to read, And when you look for newspapers, don't just go and read all the unnecessary things in the newspaper. Go look at the legal principles, the methods that have taken place, the corruption that has taken place, human rights violations, lack of service protests, labor issues, whatever. But it is in these newspapers where actually cases develop. There was a shooting somewhere by a police officer to a civilian, that was not maybe a bystander in a protest action or whatever, and then lawsuits start, and now this is beautiful. So once you start with that, it will eventually get to become, for example, a case eventually gets in the textbooks, or eventually we move to change maybe certain legislation. This happens all the time, so you cannot afford to ignore current affairs. Then as a law student, certainly you have to read generally, because one thing I say why you must read generally is that you need to understand that as a law student, it's about English as well, isn't it? Our law is in English, and remember, for me, I'm actually I speak I'm Sotho, and then before I could learn a word of English, I could only speak Afrikaans. So I'm only really even still now learning English. I promise you, I promise you guys. So I actually sometimes have to read something in English, translate it to Afrikaans, and then it makes sense. But then if I really want to understand it, I must take it to my home language in order for me to be 100% secure in what the book actually says. So sometimes it takes me quite some time. So you need to be in the habit of reading, because as you read, it helps develop your thoughts, it helps develop your thinking patterns, and it helps so much. And it will be so much easier when you read your textbooks and your legislation cases, when you have a good grasp of the language. But not only that, it will help you with your reading, your writing. It will help you with your writing. It will help you literally express yourself much easier in tests and exams, your assignments. It'll go just easy. Law would be a joy if you have a good grasp of language. Then, depending also, you must, if you can, go read your human rights instruments, your conventions, your protocols, your treaties, your charters. Just find something to read, South Africans. In conclusion, I'm saying this to you as a law student. The one hidden secret, the mystery of it all, the thing that you want to know, these are things that are made of lebollo. They must just simply tell you, go and study. If you don't study, knowledge won't get into your head. If you don't go sit on that behind and you focus time on your studies, on your textbooks, on your cases, on your legislation, on your articles, on your newspapers, and many, many other books to read, I promise you, you will struggle as a law student. You will struggle as a law student. You will struggle as a law student. So, what is the one hidden secret? Read. When you think you have read, go read some more. And when you really think that you are now good at reading, you go read some more. And I promise you, if you do that, you will excel in your studies. You will excel in your studies. So do yourself a favor, law student, go read. Don't just listen to what I'm telling you now. Actually go and exercise it. So thank you very much, you guys. You guys are the best, and I am sure when I switch this off, you are going to read. Not just read, subscribe to the channel. Subscribe to the channel. Click that button. Remember that button? Click that clock. Click that like. Click that heart. Love you guys. Bye-bye.